Man, today, hold on, I'm turning on. Man, today was an interesting day. And I wrote about it. Man, and it's pouring rain. I'm out here in my car. I needed somewhere quiet to film it, and I thought the rain would be a nice setting to the first episode. You know? And like, man, today is August 13th, 2026, right? I'm 19. I turned 19 on August 5th. So I'm freshly 19, you know? My girlfriend is 33 weeks pregnant tomorrow. I wanted to share that, right? And so I decided that I got to start journaling, right? And I decided I can't remember his name. Steve something. I can't remember his name, like his last name, but I've been listening to his podcast. It's called The Diary of a CEO, right? And I love the idea, right? I credit him, right? I love the idea of it, right? You know? And so I was like thinking, he journals once a week. He sits down no matter what time. 3 o'clock in the morning, 9 a.m., 11:33 at night. Like, it don't matter. He finds time to make his podcast every week. You know? And I didn't decide to start on his new episodes. I decided to go all the way back, start on his old episodes from like 2017. You know? And so like I've been listening to those. And those stories, like some of those stories with the newer people that he had on the podcast, man, it's interesting stories, you know? Alright, but I wanted to like share with you what happened today, right? And so what happened was, man, I woke up in a great mood, like wonderful mood, best mood I've woken up in a long time, right? And so I thought, man, today's gonna be a great day, man. It's gonna be awesome. Like everything's gonna go my way. One more day, then it's Friday, you know, and then, right? Like it was like the best thing ever. Right? Everyone knows what I'm talking about when you wake up in a mood like that. Man, this rain is like coming down bad. But man, I get to work. I used to make coffee at home, but then I found out I could use the coffee maker at work, right? And it's just so much more convenient going to work and making a cup of coffee and drinking it while I'm working, you know? So I went in, made coffee, you know, and then guess what? Well, transfers from another warehouse decided, like, we found out we have 18 of them, right? Only like 8 or 10 pallets came in, right? And there's gonna be probably 4 more by tomorrow when the rest of the transfers come, you know? Like, it's gonna suck. Right, and so that kind of killed my mood, right? But then I go to lunch about 11:15, go warm up my sandwich because my girlfriend made toasted sandwich. Man, best food ever, you know. So I took the other half of it to work so I could eat it for lunch, and then I have my court, right? Because I was in DCFS custody for the last 3 years, you know. And so like I was like, today was the day that I find out if I stay in DCFS custody or if I get out, right? And so then my attorney comes in. Holy crap. Hold on, we're moving this podcast inside. Sorry, I had to move inside from outside. So, what was I saying? Yeah, great mood, and then my court comes up. Found out I'm no longer in DCFS custody, you know? But then around 2 o'clock, about 2 hours after the court hearing, man, I just crashed. Like, my mood was just killed, you know? And I think it's the realization that, that, holy crap, look at how bad it's raining out here. Like, hold on. Like, this is outside right now. This is what I'm dealing with right now. Run, run, run! This is what I'm dealing with right now. Holy crap. Anyways, getting back to the thing, to the show, right, or whatever, right, whatever we're talking about, you know, and so I'm like, okay, this is wonderful, you know? But then I was like, What was I even talking about? I don't even remember. Oh, so like around 2 o'clock, my mood crashes, and I'm like, I think it's the realization that that chapter of my life is over. Every time I move to a chapter of life, man, it just hits me like pallet of bricks. You know, does that make sense? Like, yeah. And then, I don't know, I stayed an extra hour at work, right? My boss needed help, you know, but then I found out that I might have to be working Saturday, you know, which I'm okay with. A little bit of OT won't kill no one, right? Like, I love overtime. Overtime's like the best, you know, especially because my work pays me time and a half, right? So right now I get paid like $17 an hour. I get paid like $28, about $28 when I get into overtime, you know, and that's great for me. An hour and a half means I'm making 2 hours worth of work, you know, like it's not the best, you know, but it's better than nothing, you know, and I don't know, I just see it as a blessing to be able to work as much as I do, especially with my son on the way. Like, it's, I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. It's nerve-wracking, I guess. When I first found out, like, I really wasn't panicking that much about it, like, man, I'm gonna be a father, you know, but as the day comes closer and closer, I get scared, you know, and I don't know what to do about it. Like, all I can do is work my ass off and go save all my money. You know, I have a car, yeah, I have a car payment on it, you know, like, I could pay that off fairly quick, you know, and then I'm living with my dad right now. My dad's not charging me rent or anything like that. But man, the new year comes around, man, we're gonna have to look for a place because he's gonna move out of here and go move into a trailer. So my girlfriend and I will have to go find a new place, you know. Man, by the way, like, I had this whole notebook, right? I went and I wrote down some stuff in it, right? And stuff I wanted to talk about, you know, but then I realized, man, it's so much easier instead of reading off of a book that I write in, just speak what's on my mind, you know, and I can just talk about whatever I want, you know, and like, every episode I'm going to end off with question of the day, you know, and today's question of the day, I wrote it down. It is, oh, just kidding. Let me get to it real quick. The question of the day is, who am I now? You know, and I wrote a whole thing about who I am now, but I decided to scrap that completely, and I'm like, who I am now? Well, I would say I'm just a 19-year-old kid with a baby on the way, doing his best to make his girlfriend comfortable and then get a good place for us to raise our baby, you know? But then it's more than that. Ever since I was a little kid, I always chased any way to make money possible. I always did it, you know? Like, every little bit of way to make money, I did it. It got so bad sometimes I'd hustle my mom. She'd ask me to do something. I'm like, it's $5. Right, go mow the lawn. Okay, you owe me $15. You know, like, I mean, I shouldn't have done that, you know, but like, I also had bad spending habits. And I still kind of do. You know, me and my girlfriend got in it the other day, well, because I got my first check from this job. And I went and bought a new battery and a new sub for my car. And looking back at it, it was stupid. Right? Why couldn't I save up 3 checks and then I wouldn't have taken as much out, you know? Because now I'm over here stuck on half a tank with gas. You know, I drive 7 miles to work every day, so that's 14 miles. Like, it'll last me till the 20th when I get paid, you know? But it's like, man, it's stressful, right? Because my mom's side of the family, I guess my grandma's side of the family, they are having a family reunion. You know, and I want to take my girlfriend there, introduce her to the rest of the family, you know, announce that we're having a baby to them, you know, and I can't do that because I don't got gas to go up there. and I did it to myself. 100%, I did it to myself. And it irritates me. Like, I wish I could get over the spending habit. If anyone has any suggestions that help them, please let me know. Because, like, dude, it's stressful, right? Because me, ever since I was 14, I got my first, like, legal job at Arby's. Like, it was every check my mom would take and hold on to, right? Well, I haven't seen any of that money, right? I haven't seen a dime of that money. That's a lie. I've seen $1,000 of it, but I know there's way more than $1,000 put away, and so then since then, when I found out about direct deposit, I decided to do direct deposit straight in my account. So she can't take my check, make me cash in and take my money, and then say she's putting it in spendings, and then I'd go blow all that money before my mom found out, because I felt like sometimes that she found out I got paid and I have money, she'll take it from me, And now I realize, now that I'm 19, I live with my dad, right? I live with my girlfriend. Both, like, all three of us live here at this house, right? And it's like, I don't gotta worry about people taking my money. Like, I can save it. I don't gotta go buy everything at once now, like I used to. And I want to get out of that habit, right? But I mean, to go back to answering the question of the day, I would say, I don't know. I don't know who I am right now. All I can say is I think I'm a kid of wants. I want everything, right? I want everything. I want every little thing I can have, and it sucks. Like, I want to get into living with what I just have, like, I never had a father in my life, right? My father wasn't really in my life. Like, I live with him now, but he got out of jail prison a year ago, and I love my dad a lot, right? He wasn't in my life a whole lot, and it kind of gave me some childhood trauma, I feel like, where I grew up watching all my friends have dads picking them up from school and stuff. Like, I wish I had that. I didn't. Ever since kindergarten, I rode a bus to school. Like, I didn't have people giving me rides to school. Like, my parents didn't give me rides to school because my mom was a single mom. When I was in elementary school, my brother was in high school. His dad kind of co-parented him with my mom. Like, dad's house weekends, mom's house weeks, unless it's summer. Basic stuff like that, like separated parents. But it's like, I wish I had something like that in my life. And I feel like that has played with my emotions a lot, right? And why I was put in foster care, because I was emotionally unstable, But in all reality of it, 100% of it is my mom's narcissistic, No hate on my mom, I love her, but she's narcissistic. She's bipolar, and her emotions, both those things, like, she manipulated the fuck out of me, right? And she was very emotionally unstable, And so when she took her out on me, I do the same thing right back. That's how I was raised. Anyone starts yelling at me or getting in my face, I get the fuck back and I start fucking snapping back at them. Like, that's how I am, But that was how I was raised. And sometimes it got me in trouble, a little bit more trouble with cops, especially because every time I'd interact with a cop in bad ways, I always got physical with them. And it's like, none of it was felony charges ever, right? And so none of it shows on my records at all, thank God, right? Because it was all happened when I was a minor, But I think I would answer the question. I am a kid that wants. I'm not an adult. I know for a fact I'm not an adult, right? Everyone thinks, oh, 18, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want. In all reality, yes. Legally, I'm an adult, right? Mentally, I don't think I am ready to be an adult. So I'm a kid who wants, and I'm a kid who wants nothing but money, happiness, and success, right? Like, those are the, like, 3 important things to me, right? But now, the problem that I'm having is, how am I going to get there? With this setback of having a kid, right? Before our son was unexpected. You know, I'm still, we were expecting him now, you know, but that's because, right, but like, we were not expecting and not planning on having a baby. She was on birth control. I just didn't wear condoms, you know, and so that may be a little bit TMI, but before that, I had a whole plan on. I would get my GED. I would go to a trade school. I would learn automotive technician. Like I wanted to be an automotive technician ever since I was young. Like I grew up like taking apart dirt bikes and stuff. You know, learn how to do basic stuff to cars. You know, like that's how I grew up. Like both of my grandpas were, or sorry, one of my grandpas was a semi driver. Right, my other grandpa was a diesel mechanic, and then my uncle was a diesel mechanic. You know, and so like it's, to me, I'm not great with working with my brain. You know, I have to do something physical, labor. You know, something when I'm working with my hands. You know, and that's what's important to me with whatever route I decided to go down. Right, if I had a whole plan, I would do that, and then I'd open up my own shop. Right, and not just a shop like, what's it called? A Jiffy Lube, you know, something like that, or like a basic tire shop. Like I really wasn't thinking about a shop like that, or just a basic diesel mechanic shop. I wanted a shop where you could bring anything to me. Lawnmower, leaf blower, cars, semis, motorcycles, dirt bikes, you know, and then we would also do custom paint jobs, rims, all sorts of different stuff like that, custom wraps. Like I wanted a shop where we did everything and we had the skills to work on everything, and then eventually get to the point where I can work with Rolls Royce or Mercedes, or even like it's a pretty outrageous goal. You know, but that is my goal in life, and I gotta stick by it, you know. But how am I gonna do that right now? Well, obviously I need to go get my GED, right, so I can get accepted into a trade school. I still gotta keep the same plan, but it's gonna be harder to balance that plus work plus a baby, you know. But I mean, I don't know. Anyways, thank you all for listening. I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.